Welcome to Down and Dirty. The purpose of this video is to have a very explicit and direct, unpolished little video about how to leaf propagate peperomia plants, 3 specifically. My goals are to keep the videos very short and to show the steps in between the propagation as much as possible. So, like I said, these are the peperomia that we'll be propagating. This is called Peperomia frost. This is ruby ripple, and this is Rosso. So, those are the 3 I'd like to demonstrate. In terms of equipment that you'll need some type of a cutting tool. Scissors work just as easily as these clippers, but I really like these. Some type of tool to make a hole. Chopsticks work fine. A way to sort of rake your soil around in your propagation tray. Just a plastic fork works. Or I ended up getting this cute little rake free with some pots that I bought, so I like to use that. You may or may not want to have some rooting powder. I have tried propagating with and without. I really haven't seen a vast difference, so I just generally don't use it now. And then you need some type of a antiseptic pad or hydrogen peroxide or even warm soapy water to clean your cutting tool. You always want to make sure to keep these nice and clean so that you don't accidentally spread disease from one plant to another. So in any case, let's get started. First, a little preview of what they look like. So this is my most mature Peperomia frost. I've had her for a while. She just is doing beautifully. She has some inflorescence growing here, which are gorgeous. Then this is one of the babies that actually I produced, from this plant, or actually she produced. And then this is my mature Rosso. And this is my ruby ripple that I got from Etsy. It's still quite small. And in shipping, actually, it dropped a few leaves. So I want to show you what I did with those. Some in-between stages. So this is the ruby ripple, and these are a few of the leaves that dropped. And rather than just throwing them away, I thought, well, see what happens. So I put them in my propagation tray, and you can see the adults don't look so great anymore, but look, they've sent up babies. So here are 3 young plants that have grown from those leaves. So, and then the Rosso, it is also doing really well. I put these in, and you can see the young plants coming up. All 3 of these leaves have plants growing up. This one is just under there a bit. This one, nothing yet, but I haven't given up yet. One of my Rosso leaves didn't do well. I just removed it. And then this is another Peperomia frost that I planted, and you can see it's really already well established and needs replanting. So the next step is to prepare your tray. I use these trays for growing microgreens, and they work really well for this as well. I just have regular potting mix in here that I've added some perlite to. I do have a heat mat. Since I was propagating a lot of these during the winter months, I thought that they could use a little extra warmth. And so you're ready to go. So what you do is you just you loosen the soil a bit and make sure that you have a nice soft bed to place your babies in. You use a chopstick or something to poke holes. And I have a group going here already. I'll add one more though for demonstration purposes. So I just poke the hole in there, and the Peperomia frost I'll put here. I like to plant them in groupings like this because then when they grow up, you end up getting a grouping like this or a grouping like that, and you can just dig this whole piece out and plant it, and you have a nice full plant. What you do with these holes is you find a nice healthy leaf and you snip it off. Like I said, I don't want to cut any more of my ruby ripple off because it's still not a very mature plant. But I will demonstrate. I just find a nice leaf and I clip it off. And I'll just place this here for now. Or actually, I'll go ahead and place it in. Okay, and then the same with the Rosso. Find a nice healthy leaf. Let's see, maybe it's hard to hold the camera at the same time as letting you see what I'm doing. It doesn't need to be very long, just a little bit of the stem. Okay, and there's another Rosso ready to go. So once you have placed your leaves in the holes that you made, then what you'll want to do is just tuck them in nicely, give them a little push so that the soil makes good contact with that stem. And I had pre-moistened my soil. See, I did this one and this as well. Oh, just a quick word about these two leaves. These are a little experiment. This had a rip in it, and I suspect that this will still propagate, but I thought I would give it a go. And the same with this, it had a little discoloration. So those two I'm trying out to see if they work or not. But in any case, you give them a little press in, and I had pre-moistened the soil, but now I'm going to go ahead and give them a little spritz of water. There it is. And just try to make sure that they are nice and moist so that the soil comes in good contact with the stems. Quick word about watering these. If you use a heat mat, you do have to stay on top of the watering. The soil dries out quite quickly. I'll take care of these little babies too while I'm at it. And they will dry out in a day. I live in Colorado, so it's quite dry here. But in any case, you do have to really keep track of the water. They won't do well if they dry out. So in any case, that is it. I hope I've accomplished my goals of keeping this short and sweet, very explicit. I hope it was helpful, and I wish you a lot of success in propagating your peperomias from leaves.